Hi, I'm Ernie Zor, and I'm the guy talking to you in this 24th video of our Pure to Spring Software Frequently Asked Questions series. This one deals with an issue I've been coming across lately as more and more law office attorneys and staff are finding themselves working from home. When you think about working from home, one of the first questions you could ask is, how am I going to connect? The easiest way isn't really connecting at all. I'm talking about a thumb drive. It's also called a memory stick. One thing I like about it is it doesn't cost very much. Years ago, I recall buying a 16 gigabyte stick for under $10. Today, that's nothing. You probably can't even buy them that small any longer. But just to give you an idea, even by today's standards, even though 16 gigabytes is next to nothing, I'll bet you can still fit several lifetimes of word processing documents on it and still have plenty of room left over. So whatever size you do get, I'm sure it'll be enough for whatever you want to carry back and forth between the home and the office. Watch how simple it is to use. I'm going to bring the computer window up on my screen. I do that by going down in the lower left corner and clicking on that, and then up computer. Now, on my Windows 7 machine, it's called computer, but if you have Windows 8 or 10, it's called this PC. Before it was called computer, it was called My Computer, so you can see the trend there that Microsoft's got going. It was called My Computer. It was our computer, you know, and then it was just a computer. It wasn't ours anymore. And then it became just this PC. What's next? We'd have to ask Alexa. Anyway, I'm going to push the stick into my USB port here and watch what happens in the computer window. Nothing. Yeah, okay, there it is. You may have seen there, removable disk G appeared there. And in the front, it says, do you want to take a look at the files? No, you know what? I don't want to look at the files right now. I'm just going to click there. But I will tell you that now I can take any of these places, my downloads folder, my desktop, my documents folder. I could transfer files between these two locations, the removable disk here and whatever file I want, and just drag them back and forth. Here, I'll show you. Let's go on the disk. I'll just take whatever's there. I'm going to double click there. Here's a disk called zip file. I could take this zip file, drag it, drop it in documents. You know what? I'm not going to, but I could have. And that's as easy as it is. That's pretty simple. So if one advantage of the thumb drive is cost, and another is ease of use, a third is that you don't need an internet connection. One more advantage is this method doesn't require that you keep your office computers on 24/7 like the remote connection method does. Now, what are the drawbacks? Well, I don't know if it's fair to call it a drawback. I guess it is, but you've got to plan ahead for anything that you're going to need. And what I mean by that is if I was going to work on a complaint at home, and when I was done with that, I was going to use a billing spreadsheet or something, before I left the office, I better make sure two things. Number one, I better have a word processor application on my home computer, which most of us do, and a spreadsheet program. Second, so that's it. Number one is you got to have the applications you're going to use because you're not at the office anymore. If they're not on the home computer, you're no good. Second thing is you want to take the client files back with you. So if you're going to work on the Janet Jones divorce complaint, you want to have the word processor at home and you want to have that Janet Jones file on the US copied to the USB so that you can copy it back to the home computer. And then when you're done with that, you're going to copy it back to the USB, take the USB back to the office, and copy it from the USB back to the office computer. And that's probably the drawback, is that there's no flexibility, no margin of error. Unless you took everything with you and made sure you can work with the files, at least computer file-wise anyway, you won't be able to work on it at home. Now the next method is using the cloud, remote storage. That's another way of connecting between home and the office. And we've already published 2 short videos about the cloud. One is FAQ number 6 called Setting Up a Network, and the second is FAQ number 19 called Storing Your Files in the Cloud. If you want to know more, you can view either of those 2 short videos. For this video, all you need to understand is what the cloud is, and you can appreciate the advantages right away. First of all, don't be buffaloed by the term cloud. Cloud is just a term for remote storage, and as storage devices go, it's really no different than what's on your hard drive in your computer. The cool part is that the cloud is accessible from anywhere you have an internet connection. So if you've stored a file in the cloud, you can open it from your office, from home, from the library, from anywhere. And when you save your changes, you're going to see them everywhere because all of these different computers are opening and saving the same file. But note, like the thumb drive, that you still need to have the application on the home computer or the computer that you're sitting at. That means if you're going to work on a word processing document, you got to have a word processor installed on the computer that you're using. Likewise, if you're going to use a billing file, you need the spreadsheet or database app on the computer on which you intend to work. Now, Microsoft's cloud storage is called OneDrive, and I'm going to use it as an example. I use it because it comes free with Office. So along the way here, when I was showing you the thumb drive, that was File Explorer or Windows Explorer that opened up, and you could see OneDrive is in there already. It pretty much installed and configured itself in my favorite section automatically because I don't remember ever doing that. I think it happened when I installed Office. You should recognize the technique for copying files because it's the same as the thumb drive. I can, in fact, this is the thumb drive, okay? We're on the removable disk. I could take that same zip file, drag it, drop it on the OneDrive file, and boof, there it is. I copied it to the OneDrive file. So it is a pretty straightforward and free way to use the cloud because everybody's got a cloud. When I say everybody, I mean Google has a cloud, Microsoft has a cloud, Apple has a cloud, Amazon has a cloud, and I think most of them are free. There are more sophisticated ways to use the cloud, and one is that when you store not just your client files in the cloud, but your apps are in the cloud. Now, there's some advantages to that because it eliminates the need to have multiple installations of the same application on different computers. Because you don't need to have the apps installed on your computer at all. You're running the apps from the remote server. And the more computers you have, the better this type of a system begins to look. Are there drawbacks? Well, one thing is you're at the complete mercy of the internet, but that's usually not a problem anyway. I think most smaller offices, and even maybe some small to medium-sized offices, might find the cost of maintaining the system is objectionable. That's because when you're running your apps remotely, issues can arise that require the expertise of a professional system administrator. And that sort of thing costs money, even for simple things like installing applications or uninstalling them. You find out that there's things that you don't have permission to do or whatever. So that's a drawback. Let's go on to the last, or it might not be the last, but the third connection method. It's using remote connection software. That could be a good option. It's what we use here at Pure to Spring Software when we need to work from remote locations. One thing I like about it, of course, is it's free. You can pay for apps that do the same thing, like TeamViewer or LogMeIn or a host of other remote connection software, but we do just fine with free Google Chrome Remote Desktop. It's an add-in to the Google Chrome browser, and it's reasonably easy to install and configure. What Chrome Remote Desktop does is it allows me to connect to my office computer from anywhere that I have the Google Chrome add-in installed. In practice, I'm usually only connecting from one computer. That's my laptop. So what I really like about the remote connection software is it allows me to use the office computer as if I were sitting right there in the office, even though I'm not. Unlike the thumb drive method, I don't need to plan ahead too much because all of my apps and all my client files are available just as they would be if I were sitting at the office computer. Another advantage is that, unlike cloud storage, I don't need the apps I'm using to be even installed on the home computer. That means I can work on editing a document at the office without even having a word processor installed on the computer that I'm sitting at. Now, I'm going to fire up Chrome Remote Desktop right now. I'm going to bring up the Chrome browser. When you install it, it leaves this little icon here, or a little button. There is it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to access a computer that's in the library. It's not even on the same floor. Boy, let's try this. Oh, that's what I was afraid it's. You know, I do this so much that I bet I don't have the PIN number. Son of a gun. All right, let me try this computer here. There we go. All right, this one, I'm not sure if this one's in the library, but anyway, this is a remote computer, and you'll notice that the computer, it looks like I'm sitting at the computer. I can do anything that I would do at the computer. I have the Google Chrome browser is up on that computer, and that's it. You could see how easy it is, and any application that I need to run, I can run it from here. Word processors, Notepad, anything that I want. I am going to cancel out of that. There we go. Now, as an example, the entire FAQ number 19 video about installing Mac apps was recorded using Chrome Remote Desktop, because what happened is I needed to record a Mac computer, but the recording software was only available on a Windows computer. So what we did was we remoted in from the Windows recording software. We remoted into the Mac, and we did the whole video as if we were sitting at the Mac computer. It's very handy and very cool. Drawbacks? Remember, if you're going to access the office computer from home, the office computer needs to be turned on. So you got to leave your computers on at least overnight for the nights that you're going to use them. The thing about that is, as long as you have the monitors turning themselves off, I don't really believe that computers draw much current. So it probably is not going to make too much of a difference in your electric bill. Now, here's another drawback, is I also believe that Chrome Remote Desktop will only support one connection at a time. That has never, ever been a problem with well, maybe once, but not very often. So that, in other words, if I'm connected to that, whatever it was, that Z3 computer or the Mac computer, no one else is going to be able to connect to it while I'm connected to it. And if they try to, I think they can bump me off, actually. So. Anyway, are there other ways to work from home? Heck yeah, I'm sure there are. I mentioned a couple of them already, and my son-in-law told me about another one that he uses to connect to his office. It's called Zoom. I don't know anything about it, but it works for his company real well. Another option might be something I remember writing about last year, and basically it's cloud-based remote storage that was just like any other cloud-based storage, with the major exception that the remote server was physically accessible because you had possession. It was like a server, almost like the old-time server box in the closet kind of thing. And that seemed kind of neat because you still had that physical control, but also you still had the benefits of being able to connect from anywhere via the internet, just like you would on a cloud server. So that's really neat stuff. Okay, one thing that's important to realize is that it's a bit of a new ball game when the application and the data are stored remotely. Sometimes, or maybe even all the time, you need the services of a system administrator when the apps are stored on the server because, yeah, unique issues can arise. Like I said, even installing and maintaining the apps can be something that you need help with. And I guess that's why I like the remote desktop method, because it seems like I really don't need anything. All I need is Google Chrome. So there you are. There's a couple different ways to work from home, and I hope one of them suits the way you work. You'll still need to make an occasional visit to pick up a file or two at the office or water the plants, and when you visit, you'll say to yourself, wow, I can't remember when the office was this quiet and peaceful. Well, anyway, that's it for now, but we've got a couple other good videos planned for the near future. I think you're going to like them. So until next time, stay safe and be happy, and I wish you all the best. Take care.